So what we wanted to do is tonight, man, we wanted to make sure that for one, be in the same room with my fellow gentleman right here, Mr.
Yes.
Mario Jovan Shaw.
And
Uh
you too. We haven't been in the same room in over a
for
year.
real, for real, for real. It's been a
So
while,
it's,
man.
that's what true friendship is all about.
Agreed,
When
agreed.
you can do stuff like that.
Yeah, we made sure that we stayed connected with each other
Yeah.
over the pandemic, but then also here for a very special Why You Stressing. We're doing Why You Stressing
Yeah.
with Pride. This is the annual joint because
Yes,
this is our second time
annual
doing
now.
it.
And there were so many people that was like, oh, I'm coming back to this one. Or some of my friends said they heard about you when we did it, and then vice versa.
Right,
People
right.
that follow, and everything. So that's dope. Like we really are creating like a stronger community now.
Definitely, definitely. So
That's really
one of
dope.
the things about it though is so we came up with this idea. So I do the Why You Stressing series. The Why You Stressing series, I normally interview individuals that I know, and seeing like how do they add good stress into their life. But we also talk about the different stressors that
Yeah.
go on in their life that we may not be privy to. So last year we was talking about it, and June is Pride Month. And so being able to, talk with Mario about just the different things that that he experiences when it
Mhm.
comes down to his identity was pretty amazing. But then also we talked about, me being an ally,
Yes.
you know.
He
Uh
had a pride shirt before I did.
yeah.
I just bought my first pride shirt. You
I
had your
saw that. I
pride
saw
shirt.
that. I saw
And I was about to add you on it. I was about to say, you had your, I was about to say, one of my allied good friend brothers had a pride shirt before I did. It's
that.
crazy.
But so last year in our conversation, man, we talked about,
Yeah.
identifying, as part of the LGBTQ
That was
plus
good.
community, but then also how do we be allies,
Yeah.
as well as we continue to learn more. But then also it was something came up. You told me like after, some of the people that watched our
Yeah.
live, they didn't know
No.
that you were gay.
No. How not? No, I'm not. No, but I'm gonna joke the whole time. How did you not? But funny thing is, like, even I was just at I was at a club this past weekend, and a girl was trying to holler. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Yeah, but it was great because so many people, because the thing is that it's not that I don't talk about it, but it is that I am starting to use my voice more,
Hmm,
and I
hmm,
think I
hmm.
definitely started during your time. COVID really did help me to think about like how to use my voice and how to actually bring people together. I've always been somebody that has brought like two different groups who don't supposed to be together
Right,
together. That's
right,
always been my thing. Like
right,
if I look at the trajectory of my life, like in middle school, elementary school, I could go from this table to this table to this table, and they will all come together
right,
because I went to this table to this table. I was always that type of person.
right.
So my goal, honestly, to in speaking more, is to make sure that for me, like if man of color, all men of color can come together, ooh, they better be
Agreed.
ready because, and it's not like they, but we better be ready for the amount of power and change that we can make.
Hmm,
You know
hmm,
what I
hmm,
mean?
hmm.
I don't like always talk about the other person. We should
Right.
just talk about us.
Us. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Right.
our
Right.
enlightenment
Right.
and how we just get better
Right.
because we're connected.
Agree.
Yes.
Agree. Agree. I appreciate you even starting with that because
Yeah.
of the fact of like um even last year we talked about our relationship and us
Hmm.
being able to communicate with one another, but then for us to be able to show that we are brothers and that we love
Yeah.
each other, and it could be platonic love
Yeah.
and like a
Yeah.
true real brotherhood,
Yeah.
no matter how you identify.
That's real. Yeah.
And I think that's important for people to see as well because of the
Yes, sir.
fact that like if you especially as so I'm a cisgender heterosexual male, and if some men see me identifying with you or hanging with
Yeah.
you or us even going to dinner and just
Yeah.
kicking it, they'll be like, oh, so is he down
Yeah.
low or is
Yeah.
he
Yes.
gay or like,
Yeah.
no, that's my friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, and I think also because of how the in modern time, more specifically, how LGBTQ plus was introduced to the black community.
Mm,
It was always this thing, like the book, The Download, was one of the first black publishing books that came out. You
mm,
know what I mean? And so most people gain their perspective from that story
mm,
of that, okay, you got to be on the down low or what happened to you type of thing. Instead, I'm like, nothing happened to me.
hmm.
And on top of that, people could be friends and stuff, but we're trying to evolve from that. We're trying to
Right.
change the narrative,
Right.
change the story,
Right.
and take it back to where the LGBTQ plus community really thrived in Harlem in the 30s, 1930s. If it wasn't for gay and lesbian black women, there wouldn't have been no Harlem.
Agreed. Agreed.
But
Agreed.
most people don't know that.
Right.
Most people don't know that. So they start off in 1998. You know what I mean? Well, remember Also Drama on BT?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's where it started. That's where most people got their stuff from.
Yeah.
That's where most, and I used to love that show. But that's the first time I actually ever saw outside of what is the name of the show? The Hated It.
In
In
Living
Living
Color.
Color.
In Living Color. Yeah. Yeah.
Outside
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Living Color, the only time I've seen gay people on TV. Oh, is it?
My fault. Yeah, it's my.
Oh, are we frozen? Okay, let's see. Okay, he coming back on y'all. Okay, there you
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, the only time I've seen gay people on TV was Also Drama, and it was a man that was. I think it was about like a man that was cheating on his wife type of thing. That's the first time I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I never got to see a beautiful image of
Right.
what it means. So yeah, they're gonna automatically think just because you hang out with me or you hang out with somebody that because of how we were introduced.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. 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 Agreed. And so, I mean, and that causes so much rift in our community,
Mhm.
and it's tough. But then also just thinking about the premise of this series, and we're talking about just the
Yeah.
different stressors that you face. So for those of y'all that don't know, Mario co-founded Profound Gentleman.
Yeah.
And so Profound, tell the people what Profound Gentleman is for.
So Profound Gentlemen, we support male educators of color around the country. We currently have over 600 male educators of color in our network. Yet nationally recognized organization. In fact, we right here at one of our retreats. So we have our new impact leaders. We brought in nine new impact leaders to support. Really, it's holistic care. So we do a lot of mindfulness and meditation work. We incorporate that into the curriculum and social and emotional learning. That's kind of like our big piece that we really focus on now. So that's been fun. We've been enjoying ourselves, but that's what we learned from COVID. Like um, after everything that went on in the summer of 2020, like we recognized that a lot of our gentlemen came to us for specifically those reasons, and we just finished our strategic plan. And when we finished it, which every 3 years as a nonprofit, you do a strategic plan to see like what should be your main focus, what are some of the gaps and stuff. But it was the SEL and the mindfulness work that people was coming to us for. I was like, okay, like we have the ability to do it. We mindfulness certified, and then we're getting even more training in it.
Love
Yeah,
it.
next
Love
week
it.
we're going back to class.
Love it. Love it.
Yes.
So even with that,
Yeah.
First, let me back up. I'm gonna ask one more question.
I
How
love
do
this
you
already.
how
I mean, this is
how do
good.
how do you identify so people can
That
know?
is so good. Oh my God. Like, no black power. And his skin look good. But I was when you was talking earlier, I was like, damn, what have you been doing?
And I'm gonna tell you the interesting part about it. My homeboy taught me how to shave.
Really?
Yes. My homeboy Lorenzo taught me how to shave and taught me about my skincare routine and all of that stuff. Yeah.
It's shiny.
Yeah.
But not over shiny.
Right.
Okay, so here we go. So I identify as queer. And I just said this last week on a call because the reason why I identify as queer. Now queer is normally the entire spectrum. But part of the reason why I also identify as queer because I know that I have an attraction to trans men as well.
Okay.
And so, I don't want to be rude and just say gay.
Right.
I want to be more inclusive.
Okay.
And everything. But I learned that last year. I really did. And me and my friends were talking about it, and they were saying, could you go to trans men versus like a cisgender man? I was like, yeah, I don't really see a difference to me. You know what I mean? Some people, have their things, but for me, I can.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
And so with that identity, you say you're queer, but you're a co-founder of a national organization.
Yeah.
And with that, nonprofit too, so I know you have a board of governors and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
they try to, want to make sure that you're leading, but then not causing too much attention,
Yeah.
right? And making sure that the mission doesn't get lost.
Yeah.
How do you balance
Man,
that?
it's such a balance because, I think it's interesting about the work that we do in Profile and Gentlemen. We focus on authenticity and vulnerability.
Mm,
So when we first started our work, I did not. I'm gonna start off right here. I did not come out to my former co-founder because now he's transitioned to Walton and doing some dope things. But I did not come out to my co-founder until after we got our first major grant, right? And
really?
so, and the thing is that I had just came out to my mom maybe just 3, 4 days before that. And when I really say come out, I didn't invite in. And we
Right,
got
right,
to
right,
use
right,
those
right, right,
terms
right, right,
to
right,
be better.
right.
I didn't invite in because when you
Can
invite in,
explain why you
yeah,
say?
the reason why I say invite in because everybody has an invited in moment. So everybody has a moment where they get to choose who they want to be in their life, and they get to choose if they want to kick that person out of their life as well. Whereas like coming out means that I'm centering straightness, where
Mm-hmm.
invited in means that I could center me, I could center who
Mm,
I am, and everybody has that. So it's not so everybody literally straight people even have an invited in moment. I'm not trying to deduce it, but straight people have an inviting moment to say that you're a skateboarder. I remember the Pharrell
right,
era, NERD
right, right,
era,
right, right,
when
right, 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 right,
everybody was
right,
a skateboarder. People
right,
thought that was weird.
right.
So I mean, but some parents would get annoyed by that
Mm-hmm.
and say this is not being black or anything like that. I mean, Jaden Smith, I don't think that he is a part of LGBTQ plus community per se, but he probably definitely had to have an inviting him moment
Mm-hmm.
because he's so he hits the line for everything. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
what that is. So
Gotcha.
yeah, and so basically I invited my business partner
Keep going. Keep going.
I invited him in, which was hard for me. And the reason why it was hard for me is because I never got to see, I never had the opportunity to see a black queer male lead an organization, a
Mm,
nonprofit organization. But I knew that if we were going to be talking about authenticity and vulnerability, I knew that at the end of the day, that I couldn't withhold this part of myself, right? And so
mm-hmm.
I had to tell this part of myself. What really, really shook me was even later down the line, because I told my business partner, I told our staff and everything like that. But what really shook me was Nigel Shelby when he passed, when he had completed suicide. And to me, that was the marker because I wanted more queer boys of color like Tyler, who was just people just saw him this past weekend getting abused by his mom and dad
Mm-hmm.
allegedly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Allegedly because I don't want y'all coming. What's the name of it?
Still,
Okay,
can't, you don't want no
okay,
council culture.
no
Yeah.
counsel me. I don't know if it's brother or sister. I
Right,
like
right, right, right,
allegedly
right,
mom
right,
and dad.
right.
But that's why I did what I did. And to regulate that is I have experienced that. And I can definitely say that. I don't think that it has been intentional.
Okay.
I think it has been what people are used to and what is safe for most people.
Right.
So some people I will, be flat out honest and say that there has been times when people say I need to tone it down. And
Mm-hmm.
these are people, a part of Profound Gentlemen, to tone it down and part of it or to be strategic about how you approach or whatever not.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand where they're coming from because but I don't agree with it. I'm
Right,
saying I
right,
understand because it's a higher
right, right, right,
process
right,
to
right, 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 right,
understand,
right, right.
right? Like to understand where they're coming from because when you black and you get to be a 7-year nonprofit organization, okay, it's crazy because most people are gonna say, well then and people get even more scared. Well, how are we gonna make it to 10? So it's like I need you to
Right,
come back down a little bit more.
right, right,
Versus what got us to here
right.
was actually the level of authenticity that I displayed and showed. So I definitely have felt that. And when to share things, when not to share things,
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. And to me, I think I'm a little bit too ditzy to figure those things out any damn way. So I can't.
Man, give yourself some credit. Shut up.
I give myself credit. I definitely think I'm a smart person, but I think my smarts come from a level of creativity.
Okay.
So I'm always in the air.
Okay.
I'm always mystic. You know
Okay.
what I mean? So
Okay.
to come down to regular Earth is
Yeah.
hard for me.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking up here.
Yeah.
So then I got team members who help me to think more practically.
And, and so with that though, so with that being said, as a leader,
Mhm.
it's good that you're able to pinpoint that you're up here, you're that high level thinker, and
Yeah.
then you place people around you that can take care of the
Yeah.
logistics and all of those particular things. So I mean, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
So then that's why we able to have certain conversations.
Yeah.
Because we be way out there.
Think about because oftentimes you don't get the opportunity to. I like for my mind to go deep in an area and then to bring it back to what does that look like in a practical level.
Mhm.
Most people like to stay at the practical level,
Mhm.
surface area, and to me, I'm very hypothetical about life and imagining what things can be
Mhm. Mhm.
versus
Mhm.
what they are.
Love it. With that, as you're thinking about, just life and how it can be, and then being your authentic self, and especially
Yeah.
as a leader, um, how do you navigate that when it comes down to, okay, I'm the leader of this national nonprofit, but then I want to
Yeah.
uh, honor myself that doesn't always align with
Yes.
because you're a person. That's just to be real about it. I mean, stuff happens or whatever. How do you manage that
Yes.
aspect of
Oh my God. So David, let's go there. Right. Okay. So and the thing is too, because the thing is you have to be very and I think I'm being more honest and personal about this in order to help people really, really
it?
start to
Hmm.
think about
Hmm.
what this looks like.
Hmm.
For me, what I think about with dating is you have your needs and then you have the realistic side of everything. One of the things you said to me that was so important, you said this 3 years ago, is assess the risk, right? Of who do you get to talk to? Who do you,
Hmm.
because that matters.
Hmm.
Because they're going to automatically think, as a queer leader of color, they're going to automatically think I'm promiscuous.
Hmm.
I've had people literally say, oh, Mario is trying to start Profound Gentlemen to have an orgy. Yes, I'm literally telling everybody this type of stuff. We talked
What?
about this. Yes, I've literally had people say all types of stuff related to sexuality being just only catered to what happens in a bedroom.
Right.
That's why I hate when I don't like to use the word hate, but I do not like when people use the word say that it doesn't matter if you're gay. Yeah, it
Right.
does matter
Right. Right. Right.
because people think it don't matter if you're gay. It doesn't matter what you do in the bedroom. I have to tell people all the time. 80% of my life and 95% of my life of being a queer male of color is what happens outside of the bedroom.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you do need to matter. You do need to care about me as a
Hmm.
person because we're connected. Our souls are connected.
Right.
So there's only one universal pain. I've started to believe in that too. That there's only one universal pain, meaning that if I hurt, then you feel that.
Mm.
So at the end of the day, if you keep on saying you don't care, it doesn't matter if I'm gay. It does. Because what happens outside of the house, or sometimes what happens inside the house that harms me, harms you.
Hmm.
It harms you. That's what helped me, honestly, to start thinking about trans lives.
Okay.
Honestly, I would say this from a selfish point of view first. That I don't want to feel that hurt. I'm
Mm.
gonna say that. I started off selfish caring about trans lives.
Hmm.
That I don't want to feel that hurt because you're hurting. And then it moved to I want you to be well.
Right.
I want you to be well.
Right.
TD Jake said this before, and I love how he kind of said this is that, and this is something that's so real to me when I'm on social media, is that some people, you may be the only Jesus they see, the
Mm.
only Jesus they see. And eventually, they will begin to see the Jesus in you, but then that will then transfer to them seeing the Jesus within themselves.
Hmm.
But first, they see the Jesus within you,
Hmm.
the spirit that lives within you. And so they said, I want to get connected to that. There has been so many people that have said, and I never talked about the word God or anything like that. And there'll be so many people that'll come to me and say, "You helped me get closer to God." I literally have so many people,
Yeah,
5 to 6, to be honest with you. Like so many, I think 5 to 6. But like I'll be honest with the number. But it's been a good amount. And it's like I never say the word God, right?
yeah.
But how I feel about it.
Right. Right.
It's so beautiful to me because they see that and they say, I want to be connected to that. And they get connected to it. And all of a sudden, whether that be on social media or see a picture, then all of a sudden they see that within themselves. So
Right.
our job is how do we translate that energy that we feel in ourselves to them? And that's a hard thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that's hard.
So my question for you is,
Yeah.
for other people to see the Jesus in you,
Yeah. Okay.
that means you had to start
Ooh.
seeing the Jesus in yourself.
That is so good. Your ass is good.
How did you?
That's what it started.
How did you get to that point, though?
I was running, damn it. I was running. I'm serious. I was running. I was literally, I mean, seriously, I was running. I was running one day. Seriously, I was physically running one day at 25 years old. It was my birthday. Today, my birthday. So
Oh
this
yeah, happy
is,
birthday! I'm
thank
sorry.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
I told him already,
It's my,
but y'all gotta tell Mario
yeah,
happy birthday.
thank you.
Oh yeah, you got some happy birthdays
I
in here.
appreciate
You got
it.
some.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, yeah,
Yay.
yeah.
Okay. So I was running and I said, God, I just don't want to feel this way no more, that I'm not connected to you.
Hmm.
And I was saying that while I was running. I was on South Boulevard, no, I was on South Tryon. I was staying at Century Park side. And I was running on my way back into the house. I just stopped dating this little this I don't use her. I just got
I was about to say, you know, I don't like that
yeah, I
word.
like that. I can't do her. I just got stopped dating this dude for a period of time. And you helped me not to do that. I actually said that earlier today. That's funny. And I'm working on. I get better and better with it. And what's crazy? I mean, what's interesting is that I like basically collapsed on the floor.
Mm,
I got to my house and I collapsed on the floor and I started crying. And God, I literally heard God say this to me. I love you just the way that you are.
mm,
I love you just the way that you are.
hmm.
Seriously. And it was so amazing that I heard God say that, and I ended up just crying and like tears just balling out of my eyes. Like I
Mm,
just cannot believe God just loves me
right.
for me being me. And then all of a sudden, the next day, my dad ended up calling. He said, "I want you to be happy."
Mm,
And my dad, like I tell people all the time, my dad invited himself into my life.
right, 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 right,
Yeah,
right,
and
right.
so literally my story, I just wanted to know if God loves me.
Hmm.
That was the base of my. I didn't care what people thought. I
Hmm.
didn't care what my parents thought. Anything. I wanted to know if God loved me because I grew up 24 years of fire and brimstone. You
Mm,
going to hell.
hmm. Hmm.
And once I learned about David in the Bible, King David, that's
Hmm.
why I was just at the Cleveland Museum of Arts for my birthday weekend. I love doing that type of stuff on my birthday. I love going to museums and the zoo and botanical gardens. To me, that's worship. To me,
Hmm.
that's so spirit feeling because these things say no words but
Right,
have
right,
everything to say to you,
right.
and it's just everything. So I was looking at a King David image. Um, at the museum, and it's the first time I ever saw an image of King David. But King David is the person who helped me to see myself, because if you know the story of King David, you know that he had most people will, some people will say, but I recognize that he had a relationship with a man.
Hmm.
Because they danced till they got naked. What the heck you think they was doing then? You know what I mean?
Right. You got to
You
read
know,
in
the
between the
Bible says
lines.
you gotta read between the lines,
Right, right,
right?
right.
And then the king at the time was David. David was going with the king was his father, and he had confronted them. He had confronted them about that,
Hmm.
and they didn't necessarily really deny themselves from it. So to me, when I saw King David in that portrait, it brought me to tears
Mm.
because once, and I can't remember the dude's name that David was going with. If y'all remember, please let me know. But
Drop it in the chat
David's homie.
if y'all
I'm
know.
gonna say David's homie right now. He when he died, that's when David started going crazy.
Hmm.
I mean, okay, dang, I keep on saying that. Huh? And I ain't saying that I'm pussy or anything like that, but I do want to just like be intentional. But that's when David really started. I mean, the Bible used that word, but like David really, really started like having sex with so many different women and everything like that. He was trying to fill that void, and that's what a lot of theologians and philosophers stated. He was trying to fill that void.
Okay.
And it's really interesting. So when I listened to that story, I said, I ain't trying to fill no void for my life. I just want to be,
Right.
you know. And so King David really, really helped me. So when I saw that image, it really brought me. So that's when you say that Jesus, you know, and I think as we talked about that theological suicide, we talked about that
Hmm.
last time we
Hmm.
talked, and that to me was just, man, like so many people came into my gyms and actually, they said I never heard about that, but Billy Porter, who plays in Pose, he said that. He said the first thing that they take away from you when you gay is your spirituality, because they
Mm.
feel like that you can't
Don't. Right. Right.
that
Right.
you
Right. Right.
can't
Right.
get connected to God. So, but that was the first thing that I got.
Right.
That was the first thing that I went to and I ran to.
Right.
I literally ran to that. You know what I mean? And that to me was everything. So, long story short, no,
Love
I'm
it,
messing
man.
with you.
No,
That was a
thank you.
long
Yeah.
story.
But
You
with that,
asked so many good questions.
but with all of
That's why
that,
I have to think. Let me just put this down. Yeah.
with that though, and you're able to become your authentic self. You're able to, understand that God still loves you,
Yeah.
but then also that translates into you loving yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
Um, but then also this helps you lead.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Because you cannot lead without being connected to yourself. And that's the thing that's interesting is I don't know, I get a little bit weird when people say, I'm just waiting on God. Because what I learned is that it's both, right? Like
Hmm.
you have to like I love the scripture that say miracles, signs and wonders follow those who seek him.
Hmm.
So I'm going to seek, and I don't use him often. I usually say God is the pronouns of God.
Right,
You
right,
know what
right,
I
right,
mean?
right,
Like
right, right,
God is not deduced to
right, right,
male or
right, right,
woman.
right, right.
But one thing that's really interesting um, that I think about is how do you manage both, and how do you make sure that you could see God within you, but then also see that God loves you. The first person who ever said this was Stephen Furtick. He had this "Wake or Wonder,"
Hmm.
and it was so good because he said that there's a stairwell that comes from heaven down to you. I
Mm.
never heard that before. I always thought that you know what I mean, that we had to kind of look at God and say, God, here I am, type of thing, and
Hmm.
go up
Go
there.
up, right.
Instead, God consistently comes down to you. So when I kind of got that, then I started to see myself as being somebody that's amazing and a beautiful person.
Mm.
Oftentimes, like I don't like to say that, like I don't go by the term that we're ratchet and full of sin.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I don't go by that. I don't know. And I really go by that God loves us and
Hmm.
he looks down at us and he's just like, oh my God, y'all are amazing.
Yeah,
Versus,
yeah.
oh my God,
Right,
what you
right,
doing?
right, right,
I'm
right,
gonna
right, right,
punish you.
right, right,
I
right.
couldn't think that way. And once I started to see God in a way that I didn't think we was gonna go here. That's so funny. We're talking about God like crazy. I mean, like realness. But like, oh my God, this is amazing. I love this. I really love what we're doing here because once I started to see God as this amazing being that lives inside of us, right? Then I started to take care of my body. I started to take care of my energy, the energy that I put out, like
Hmm.
all of those things.
Hmm.
All of
Hmm.
those things. That was so
Hmm.
important to me.
Hmm. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Like I don't know. Like I saw God looking at me as somebody who he loves versus I'm just waiting till the next time they're gonna punish you.
Right,
I don't wait for that.
right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I will say that I look at opportunities. Oh, and then you said going into leadership. I look at every situation that's a challenge as an opportunity for me to grow. So I just went out, I'm coming out of a really interesting and hard time
Right.
that I experienced from about the end of March to probably yesterday. Nah, probably like last week, right? Like I literally just experienced like really, really hard times of just like really transitioning. But to me, it was God's way, and you can learn from God in a positive way too.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't want y'all to think you guys got learn from God in that way, but it was me learning how to, you know what I mean, how
Right. Right.
to learn from God from what I'm experiencing right now, and kind of getting every tidbit and piece to just get better every day, every day, every day. Like even in the midst of like what I was going through, I'm like, I just gotta keep on going forward. It just get better.
Love it.
Yeah. Wow,
We,
you about to
I
make
would
me
tell
cry.
y'all, we really weren't going to go this direction, but hey, I
That's
mean,
crazy.
it's a wild thing, and I love it. Just his authentic, you being authentic,
Yeah.
and those are the conversations from when we met, over what 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Uh, us being authentic with one another, and then you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, and being able to have these conversations where we're not ashamed to have those conversations.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
um, and one of the things, I guess, even tying it back to the whole "Why You Stressing" series, and how you add good stress. You said once you started to look at the love that God showed you, it made you started to take care of yourself even better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with that, what are the good stressors that you add to your life to combat all of the other bull that goes
Yeah. I think the good stress that I add is I'm okay with holding a little bit of burden on me
on?
in terms of understanding that there are not that many black queer leaders in nonprofit or just in leadership spaces, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are going to be certain things that I just don't do
Mm-hmm.
that applies pressure in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd be like, I just want to just go have fun and just go do it. You know
Right,
what I
right, right,
mean?
right, right, right.
But
We
there's
had those
certain
conversations
things,
too.
yes. And it's just like I can't do everything because when people see me, they're seeing a larger community. I just see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and when they see me, they see my ancestors too. And I have to recognize that that is an additional burden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm willing to use my voice. I'm willing to I don't like to say lose friends, but I would say I'm willing to kind of have a lesser connection of a relationship with somebody
Right, 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 right.
because I'm using my voice. So that has
Right.
started to happen. That has happened. Certain people don't want to, chat or anything like that because, I said this the other day. I was in the shower. Good thoughts happen in the shower. It's okay for many people to be gay.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this idea that you're acting on it. It's very interesting,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not acting on anything.
Right.
But the way that it's perceived, it's okay for you to be gay, but if you act on it, meaning that you got in a relationship or
Right.
that, you know, hyper femininity,
Right. Right.
oftentimes, people get, oh my God, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And they get so offended, and they be like, well, it's okay for you to be gay, but like if you want to like start producing policy and laws, if you want to include that a part of your identity and leadership, that would be considered acting gay.
Okay.
And so then now you have people they don't want you to act gay.
Right. 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 Right.
They
Right.
don't mind you being gay, and I think that there are a lot more people that don't mind you being gay. But to me, that's less than tolerance.
Mm.
And tolerance is not even acceptable today,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
We at accomplice now. There's 5 stages of supporting somebody. And so I think they're just hearing it at
Mm-hmm.
that moment. They're not even necessarily tolerating it.
Mm.
And I think that's where we're at a little bit. For example, I mean, you to be a true ally, accomplice, whatever you want to call yourself, you know, for me, even with trans lives in community, we don't have not one trans person on staff, but we make sure, and this is very, very small because this shouldn't even matter, but we literally made our bathrooms gender neutral,
Right.
right? You know
Right.
what I mean? But nobody, like, you gotta stop waiting till the person come to like
To do
start
right,
changing
right,
stuff.
right, right,
You know what I
right.
mean? So
Agreed.
that's something that we had to do. And same thing, like when you see something like the Ice Cube plan, I always bring the Ice Cube plan up, for example. There were so many cisgender straight black males saying how
Oh, it stopped. Why did it stop?
oh, it stopped.
Yeah,
Oh, man. Did it stop on my end?
yeah. I think it stopped on both of us.
Okay. Well, we have to start it again.
Right.
Okay.
Hold on, let's see.
I bet you they was like, damn.
Right.
Oh my God, that was you. Ooh, you asked so many good questions.
I know we still live on Facebook though, but so
Okay, y'all, we get this one set up. You asked so many great questions.
I can just all right, I got it on live on mine. You want me to just leave it live on mine and then we just okay. All right. Yeah. You just I think it may be something with the internet or something.
Yeah. You know, my peoples, they'll come back over to your side. A lot of them probably just started following you. They saw your skin.
For my people on Facebook, man, y'all hold up. We covered, man. We trying to we got Instagram live going at the same time. So
I love it.
oh, thank you.
Y'all, he asked so many good questions. You literally got me at the edge of my seat because of these questions. I'm like, okay, let me think about this real quick.
All right, let's see.
Man, let me know if I'm going too long. Too.
No.
Okay.
All right, we live again on IG. Waiting to we on Facebook too.
That's good.
So the beauty of this too is the reason why we got it on Facebook and Instagram Live is so that we can have the platforms, you know, be able to see our communities. But then also we're recording it too, so we'll be able to post this later on.
Okay.
So
Perfect. This is
so
good.
so for my IG Live people, man, welcome back. You know, we're back. We had some technical difficulties, but get back to it, man. Where were we? You were about to, you know, drop some major gems.
I mean, because let me just say this real quick. I think a lot of people, when they interview folks, they interject. I think it's important to interject personal thoughts and stuff like that. But a lot of people will go on 15 minutes. I'm talking and I asking that one question. Okay. You know, yeah, you keep on talking. I'm good. You know,
Right.
Sometimes it's great, but like it's really interesting. You
But
remember?
yeah, but so you were talking about, you know, when it comes down to being an ally and all of those things.
When it came to the Ice Cube Platinum Plan, there were so many cisgender straight black males who was like, oh my God, this is so great. You know, take this to Biden, take this to Trump. And when I looked at it, I was like, this is trash box. And the reason why it was trash was there was this idea of trickle down from that the cisgender black straight male is the person that we present first as a form of respectability in politics because they know how to quote unquote talk to the white man type of thing, and then everybody else get it. I've had somebody tell me before that why can't we just focus on black straight males and then the black gay males, whatever we do as an organization will come later. As if that's the way to work it.
And this is within your organization.
Yes. Okay. And it's like, well, why can't we just focus on male? And I'll be like, I am focused on male. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because you think the default male, you know what I mean? What is your default male? What does that look like? And so when I looked at Ice Cube Platinum Plan, I noticed how there was nothing very simple. Black women and very small, very small, but black women and child and pregnancy. You know what I mean? How many women die on the birthing table? It was so sad because it's like in healthcare we see that so much. We see black women not being treated well in healthcare so much. That was very simple. Then we could get to Now y'all see now I'm about to be me. Then we can get to the gay shit. Yeah, I can. It was me being queer. I can say stuff like that. I love saying that. I love saying that. This is it. I do. I love saying that. But then we can get to that. But it's like no, we have to tackle both all at the same time. It's like diversity. People always say, okay,
Equality.
this is next and this and this is next. Like, oh, how do you bring it all together? Because that never worked. That never worked for us.
Hmm.
It never worked in the 60s. It never worked in the 30s. You know what I mean? So it's
I,
really interesting.
I
Yeah.
think it also comes down to the point of you're trying to separate people as these specific populations, but
Yeah.
why not treat people as people,
That's right. Yeah.
as human beings?
Right. Well, that's because most people don't treat themselves as people. So that's why they can't see it. And I think that's what my thing is about. Even with my Instagram, it's just like, how do we get people? Like I said this last year. When a dog passes another dog, they wag their tail like, oh my god.
Right,
You know what
right,
I mean? When a bird
right, right,
hears another bird, they chirp back. When humans see each other, they just walk around past each other, and it's just like, oh my god. I want to get excited about seeing another human. I
right,
do.
right,
I
right,
want to get excited and be, and like, oh my God, here's a human while I'm
right,
walking the trail.
right, right,
How are you doing? How was your walk?
right, right.
You know what I mean? What have you experienced in life? Um, how are you? Just very simple. How
Yeah,
are you?
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I think, me personally speaking, I think people are dope. I love
yeah,
people. I
yeah.
think they're simply amazing, creative. Just I don't know. I get really excited thinking about people,
Yeah.
and I'm not tipsy.
I know,
I'm
I know,
drinking
I
a
know.
lot.
Yeah,
No, I'm
yeah,
messing.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
messing like that. But like, I just people like, what is he on? You know what I mean? But you
yeah.
like
Is it?
people after the
Right,
insurrection in
right, right, right,
2008.
right, right,
No,
right,
but I
right.
think like, man, if you just sometimes have conversations like this, my heart is full just talking to you.
Mhm,
You know what I
mhm,
mean?
mhm.
It's just a beautiful thing
Yeah.
for us to be able to use language.
Right.
And that language is interpreted based off of your experiences in life.
Mhm.
And I could be able to say, well, what did you mean by that? Because sometimes when you say certain things, it may actually be interpreted different than how I interpret it just because of my experience. So like, that is beautiful.
But
So
that's
ask me a
that's the
question.
thing that a lot of people miss,
Yeah. Yeah.
and people get defensive about this stuff, the
Yeah.
way they perceive, the way somebody else saying
Yeah.
something, and don't really try to understand. Well, what did you really
What did
mean
you
by that?
mean? What
Yeah.
did you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ask
Yeah.
questions. I don't like to assume.
Yeah.
I don't like to assume because when you assume and make an ass out of you,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
But it really, I do. I love that. It's just beautiful, man. Like it really is.
So with that, man, I know. So I don't want to hold Mario too long because it's his birthday, and then he's actually still
I'm
he's
still
still working
working.
on his
And
birthday.
people in the
Like
other
oh
room.
my
It's
god.
a nigga
So
in the other room.
yeah. So but I appreciate you taking the time, brother.
No, I
And
wanted to talk about this
and
on my birthday.
we're going to continue these conversations even
Yeah.
more. But like me and him had these conversations all the time, so I'll just let y'all know. But with that, you got something special coming out today.
It did.
And
Yes,
so,
I
I
have a
mean,
second
please,
book.
please let them know.
I
Please.
have a second book now. The Sunflower Sun. It's a parable. And this book, I'm gonna read what it's about. And then I'm gonna go further into what this book is about
Okay.
because I think that it's based on a lot of our conversations. So when Mr. Miller lands in a new city to achieve a greater purpose, he meets a group of friends that change his life forever. The Sunflower Sun is about community, commitment, and creativity. And we just talked about that this whole time. Really, what I hope, and I really, really do mean this about this book, is that it draws more people closer to God.
Mm,
That's what this book is about.
mm,
That's why I called it a parable.
okay.
Because a parable is a story that already was told, just told in a different way,
Right.
right? To be
Right.
able to get a deeper meaning.
Right.
And that's what I'm doing with this book. I want, it's my first short story, my first fiction, and that's my heart.
Okay.
My heart is fiction.
Okay.
I love creating characters and letting them live inside of me and allow that to come out and to figure out like what would they do, what would they eat.
Hmm.
Like I love that.
Yeah.
That is fun. So with this book, it was originally a journal entry that I wrote just literally only a month ago, and
Right.
I was like, this book has to come. I was not planning on a book to come
Hey.
out, but I literally, it was a journal entry that came that I was writing He got me into journaling and yoga 10 minutes a day. I have my yoga mat right there.
Yeah, yeah,
I literally yoga.
yeah.
Wherever I'm at, I literally yoga 10 minutes a day. I have to. It's so important. It really is. It helped me get closer to me. But yeah, and that journal entry, I literally wrote for 3 hours. And what I did was, we yesterday was Father's Day.
Hmm.
We don't get the opportunity as queer folk to be able to talk to our ancestors because they died of AIDS, they in
Mm.
prison, they got killed. So I felt, though I have my biological father, I want to be able to talk to somebody from my community that's been there and done that. Because when I was experiencing between the end of March and June was an attack in a sense. I don't want to use really say attack, but really I'm not even going to come from their perspective. It was a deeper dive into my leadership. I'm
Okay.
going to come from my
Okay.
perspective, from a
Okay.
healing perspective.
Okay.
That it's a deeper dive in my leadership. Although certain scenarios happened, there was a deeper dive in my leadership that allowed me to be able to think and to use my voice around how do I want to show up and how do I go deeper into helping more queer folk be able to live their life and do what I'm doing.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that was scary.
Mm.
That was scary. And I just wanted to be able to talk to one of my ancestors or somebody that's older than me, 20 plus, 20, 30 plus years older than me that has done it before.
Hmm.
And I got so mad because I wasn't able to.
Mm.
Because there's rarely anybody there. And they
Right.
have to be discreet. Y'all have to remember, just almost about to be a year that we can't get fired for being queer.
Right.
That
Right.
just
Right.
happened
Right.
last year.
Right. Right.
So many of us, and I remember one of my mentors said this. He said, because he was like, "Do you really want to publicly invite people to your life?" I was like, "I'm sure." He said, "Well, there's only two things that you get to do. Either you could be gay and publicly be gay. This is his philosophy: publicly be gay and live just a mediocre life and not
Hmm.
be able to live your dreams and stuff,
Hmm.
or you could be discreet and you could do whatever you want to do and
Right.
go
Right.
this way and that way
Right.
because that's how they were
Right. 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 Right.
taught,
That. Yeah.
that was the only way to do it. So for me to say no, I'm gonna
Do both.
do both and climb up. And what is mediocrity? You know what I mean?
If y'all know Mario, there's nothing mediocre about Mario at all.
Right. But even still, like even like 'cause I think about one thing I also think about is like the more feminine gay guys that are more feminine than me. Oftentimes we talked about this last year, so I will skip forward with this, but like oftentimes there are some gay guys they don't hang around guys that's more feminine than them
Hmm.
because of what you said.
Hmm.
Are they gay? You
Hmm.
know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Of you being a cisgender straight male being at a restaurant with a gay person. And like for me, I always felt like that is true liberation with all gay people.
Right. Right. Right.
Masculine and feminine can come together to
Right.
be able to do it because there is still shame within the gay community around femininity as
Hmm.
well. And that I definitely want to be able to make better. So this book is about again, and it was the day before Billy Porter had. It was the day, sorry, after Billy Porter had said his message. But this book was that journal entry, 2-3 hours, and I turned it into a fictional book because what I did was I imagined if I was writing
Right.
to
Right.
one of
Right.
my
Right. Right. Right.
ancestors.
Love it. So I already have a copy of the book, but then
Yeah.
also I'm gonna make sure I would love to, purchase a few copies for you to give away.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Especially to men of color that who
Yeah.
have this issue with understanding themselves.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so I want 10 books. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Yay. Thank
give
you.
away 10 books.
Yes.
Um, for those of y'all that don't know, Mario, let them know how they can actually
Yeah.
get the
On
book.
Amazon, it's Prime
Okay.
Day, right? So it's Amazon Prime Day. Even if you don't have a Prime account, you get a 2-day free delivery. So it's on Amazon Prime. Go to the Sunflower Sun. And I'm going to say this. And normally I do not like to publicly say when I'm donating to an organization, but because you guys are helping to be able to do this, it's an amazing organization called Our Boy Joy. They're doing a camp that is going to be really spectacular for boys of color and out of this world and to provide healing. And so proceeds from the book is going to help to fund that camp. And I want to continue to do more of that. Like each year, I want to just look at different camps that I could support and initiatives because I think it's going to be important.
Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, man, y'all make sure y'all go follow Mario on all social media platforms, Mario Jovan.
Yep.
And brother, I appreciate you.
Yes.
Um,
This was amazing.
I love
Oh
it.
my God. Like when this book becomes New York Times bestseller, I need you to, we're going to go to a conference. I need you to do the
All right,
interview.
yeah, let's do
I'm
that. Yeah,
serious.
let's
The
do
questions you
that.
ask. Oh my God.
Hey man,
How?
I'm a professional.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Man, but
But you
look,
listen. Yes.
got to.
Yes, you listen. Thank
Love
you
you,
so
brother.
much. I love you too.
Hey
Seriously.
man, y'all make sure y'all
Yes.
check out this book, and then Mario again. I appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you, brother.
No problem. All right.